You look like a tomato.
And welcome to a laugh-filled 12 o'clock show with Mary Jo. Joining us today, Officers Ignat and King from our Traffic Patrol and Community Liaison. So thank you both for taking some time out of the day for being here. We appreciate it. It's a nice day out, sunny, so I'm sure everybody's driving at the normal speed, right?
25 miles an hour.
Yeah, there we go. If you're driving and listening to this at the same time, I appreciate it, but please stop. So we got a really big event coming up next week. It is National Night Out. This is a long ongoing event, but why don't you tell us a little bit about National Night Out for next week and what we've got planned here for our event?
Yeah, so National Night Out is a community-based policing event that kind of it bridges the gap between community and police. So you bring the family, the kids out. It is a free event. It's on August 6th from 5 to 8 p.m. We're going to have all kinds of activities, games, bounce houses, a dunk tank. So, yeah, we're very excited, and we got a lot of vendors.
Forgot the motorcycles.
Oh, yeah, we do have a motorcycle demo as well.
Of course, we had to bring up the motorcycles. Yes. So it's right here at JFK Park, which is nice. So all you have to do is come to City Hall, and you're going to be right there. It's a lot of fun. Everybody enjoys it. They've got some cool things going on. I like it how, you've got the young kids that are looking to get their little badges and then look at the motorcycle, and then you have the older kids, the adults that are looking at the motorcycle, and they're not going for the badges, but they're looking at the SWAT team equipment. That's always a big popular thing.
That is.
But it's nice because you get a chance to meet some of the community members in a time when it's okay to meet them. Usually when you're meeting them, it's probably not at a good moment.
Yeah.
So this helps out. So speaking of not good moments, we've been doing a lot of traffic blitzes in Reynoldsburg the last couple of months because one of the biggest complaints that we always get is why people speed. So we know all this stuff. I just want to know, what's the most common excuse given for why they speed? What do you think?
Well, you want to take this first?
I'm going to defer that question to the motoring officer here.
So one of the more common answers that we receive is actually quite shocking. I am the one that actually made that complaint, right? So typically when that happens, you're like, oh, well, this is why I'm here. A lot of them is they didn't see that stop sign. A lot of them thinks that maybe the speed is not accurate for that area. So it's kind of just explaining those laws to them and telling them like those stop signs that are there for a reason. Today, right before I came here, I stopped someone and they literally told me we have too many stop signs. So that is a kind of the common thing that we see is maybe they just don't want to be patient and they just are in a hurry. It's no hurry if you get an accident.
Yeah, I get a kick out of it because I know we had a couple of instances where somebody said that that they're the ones that called in the original complaint, and then they get a ticket, and then they got mad because, well, you only got me because I made the complaint. No, we got you because you were speeding. The stop sign one is interesting because that is one that is obviously, because for whatever reason in Central Ohio, stop signs seem to be optional now.
Yes.
And for someone to say that they didn't see the big red signs,
yeah.
That type of thing is kind of amusing.
Yeah, I will say slowing down and proceeding through a stop sign is not a complete stop, by the way. So
you got to come to a complete stop.
You do. You have to come to a complete stop, I think it is, and then go through it.
I think there was like looking left, looking right.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't see in this how now you can go to a stop sign and not look left and right. I mean, even at traffic lights, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm always looking because there are people. I was on 256 last week, and I was headed northbound on Graham Road, but there was somebody in the far left turn lane. We were slowing down. We were all even. The light had turned yellow, and we were probably maybe a little bit further back than where Culver's were. So we weren't going to make that light. We all started slowing down, and then the car in the far left lane slowed down with us. I thought we were all stopping, and then he looked, and then he just went when the light was completely red. And
that's another problem that we're having too. Is the yellow.
This was
seems like the yellow is for slow, but it's
yellow
usually
speed up.
Yellow speed up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I'm not allowed to have police lights on my car. Otherwise, I may have tried to make a little bit. Whatever, those are the rules. So as far as the community liaison position, you do a lot of things in general, but is there anything that you're looking forward to doing kind of moving forward for the rest of this year?
Yeah, so we have last year we used to do a book bag giveaway, school supply giveaway, and this year it's going to be a little different. We've already had a couple people reach out about, book bags, school supply, stuff like that. So I would like to let them know that we're going to be incorporating it into the schools this year.
Okay.
So we'll be delivering that stuff into the schools, the elementary schools this year, for the teachers to be able to, pass out to kids that may need some school supplies or a book bag or something like that. So that's something we're looking forward to. I've got a little project under my belt. Logistics are still being worked out, so I'll keep that one a secret for now.
Okay.
For some kids, and then we do our shop at the clock. We are starting to work with donations for that. We just got approval that it will be at Meyer this year.
Okay.
So yeah, we're looking forward to that.
That was my next question: is where it was going to be.
Yep.
So if anybody wanted to make donations to help, contribute for the shop with the cop, is there anything that they can do? Can they get in contact with you? Just call RPD and say, hey, I'd like to give you money.
Yep. So any donations would be greatly appreciated. It's for the kids that are in need of toys. So it's going to be in Meyer off East Broad is where we're going to have it, and we would like gift card donations. So Meyer gift card donations. They are very aware of that and they know how to handle that very well. So that would be best for donation purposes.
No cash.
No cash.
Yeah.
No cash.
Yep.
Yeah, give cash to police officers. It might seem a little odd, a little bit. Yeah. Do we have any questions at all have come in for our guests?
Yeah, we did have one question come in. It says, do you think that the police and community coming together has helped the relationship between the community and police? I think these community events, involving police are so important.
I believe so, yes. I was on patrol for about 4 years, and then I turned over to I usually saw a lot of, when people call for not so good things, and now taking this job as the community resource officer, I just see such a difference in calls for service that may not be so good to being able to get out in the community and see the education behind police in the community and things like that. So I love being out there. I love educating. I love hanging out with the kids and riding bikes with them and being out there and passing out stuff and just giving them some information on what we do in a positive light. So I do see the great gap that you're bridging between the two. So
Perfect. That's it for right now.
Yeah, I think that actually that's a huge thing. That's why it's so important. Is because there's always negative stereotypes about police officers in this day and age, and the more the police officers are out meeting with the community members, it's not going to be whatever it is that they think. It's actually, oh, I know Officer King, I know Officer Ignat, I know they're cool, they did this, that, and the other. And so it becomes a different thing, and I appreciate it because obviously it's not the easiest job in the world, but with this to build those relationships is huge because that will pay off as we move forward. I do talk to a lot of my fellow mayors and things of that nature, and that's one of the things that they always talk about when it comes to the police department in Reynoldsburg is the reputation the Reynoldsburg police have within the community itself, which is always a good thing. So I appreciate that. I'm really looking forward to next week. National Night is all good. Are either one of you doing the dunk tank, or is this just somebody else?
Oh, gosh.
So we have 2 officers from our reserve unit that's kind of their thing. They love to do it. So they'll be doing it. Yeah, I did.
Did you have a dunk tank
we
experience?
just did the dunk tank at the state fair.
Yes.
So I was very cold.
That picture was priceless.
I was freezing. I was freezing the whole time. So Officer King was up here a lot more than I was.
That's all right. Teamwork.
Yeah.
I
Teamwork.
did have another question. Do you guys know if there's going to be a fall civilian police academy offered?
So we decided that we have to there's a maximum of 20 people. If we determined if we got interest up to 20 people that we would host one. We're around 9 right now in interest and applications that have been sent out but not received back. So I think what's going to happen is we're going to go down to 1 Citizens Police Academy a year instead of 2. Unless we get that interest back up for 2 classes, we're going to do 1 this year. The Junior Police Academy, we are looking at 2 classes per year.
Well, both of them are successful. I went through, I think I shot you a couple of times.
Yeah, you did. I
But
like to play the... when he made shot, I was in some gear, some protective gear, but we have a good time when we do that.
Yeah.
I think it's very educational. You get to see, I think one of the biggest questions that we got in that academy was, why don't we shoot for extremities? And I think during that class, you guys found out how hard it is to shoot a moving target, especially extremities. So that was the biggest thing that we taught that class was, we are trained a certain way for a reason, and that's why we perform that duty, and for that reason, it's just because you can't shoot extremities. If you shoot something and you're trying to aim for an arm, make it hit a kid or hit a civilian that's just walking down the road. So that's why we train the way we train.
So what you're saying, it's not like Call of Duty or some of these other videos?
It's definitely not like Call of Duty. You can't do that. That won't work. Yeah. That won't work at all. So.
Well, I figured that would be the case. See, there we go. Joe Taggart needs to come to the front desk.
I think that was your fault.
No. This is week, I think, 2 for 2 on that particular one. Well, again, next, is it Tuesday? Tuesday. Next Tuesday from 5 to 8 p.m. right here at JFK Park. Come on out, see everybody. It's a great time. I'm looking at the thing. We've got Brewster's Ice Cream. As they're getting ready for up there.
We got a pro wrestler coming. Yep, pro wrestler. Superman Onyx is his name. He'll be there. Urban Air, Jets Pizza will be donating. Shout out to them. They'll be donating 200 pieces of pizza. They'll be there. Nothing Bunk Kinks. I mean, we've got a lot of fun stuff planned. Two bouncy houses.
Two. Wow.
Yeah.
Big upgrade, man.
So face painting, stuff like that. A lot of demos. So it'll be really fun.
Yeah.
Are you rollerblading? I heard you were.
I'm not rollerblading.
No.
No. Nope.
There's always an option. You change your mind.
You sure?
I mean, the skate park's right there.
I was going to say, I thought you were going down the ramp.
No.
I mean, everybody's watching the Olympics and they're seeing that type of thing.
That's why I thought you were going.
No, not trying to break a hip.
All right. Just sign this waiver before you go. It'll all be fine.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. If you guys want to stick around, you can. If not, you've got other things to do, please go ahead. But I do appreciate you coming in, and we'll see you next week.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Thank you. Yeah. All right, everybody. Again, thank you to RPD for putting on a great event. This National Night Out is a huge thing. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's always a lot of fun out there. Weather's going to be great, so come on out. A couple of other things going on. Obviously, we have kind of the update. The next thing is Reynoldsburg City Schools. So I've got a couple of things on there. They do have a levy request. 6.65 mils or $233 per $100,000 of value. If you want to know what that's going to be like at your specific home, you can check it out on the county auditor's website for either Franklin, Licking, or Fairfield. What's interesting is, people had asked, hey, what about apartment complexes and things like that? So actually, we've been looking into that to see what kind of quote-unquote school taxes all the apartment complexes pay, and they pay significant amounts. So we're going to kind of review some of those over the next couple of meetings, just so people are aware of it. Is it directly from the tenants themselves? No, but do they pay for it in their rent, which then comes out? Yes. So that's something there. So a lot of the new housing, obviously, that'll be in there as well. But if you want to know more specific things about the levy, what the funds are going to be used for, how it's all going to come down, there's going to be a number of community Q&As. The first one is scheduled at the Reynoldsburg Library on August 28th from 6 to 7. There'll be another one on September 23rd, location and time to be announced. October 3rd, there's going to be 2 events. The first one is going to be Chat with the Treasurer and Superintendent at a place and time to be determined, but then either before that or after, it's the Chamber of Commerce lunch. That'll be the location where you can find out about those things. And then the last one that I have so far is on October 17th at the Reynoldsburg Senior Center. Keep in mind, property taxes are what property taxes are. That's how the state of Ohio funds schools. A majority of your property taxes go to the school district, not to the cities. There have been a couple of bills in the State House to protect seniors and those on limited incomes, but the State House decided not to pursue those during the campaign season, so hopefully they will do something else after the fact. If you were on, remember watching the show a couple of weeks ago, Auditor Stinziano from Franklin County was there, and he was talking about how some of them would freeze and lock in those property tax rates. So hopefully the State House will pay attention to doing something like that, and that's an important thing, so we shall see on that one. The other thing I want to ask is it's really kind of an interesting thing. So there's a couple of different organizations that I'm a part of as mayor of the city, and one of them is the Ohio Mayors Alliance. It is the largest group of cities by population in the state of Ohio, and Reynoldsburg is one of those. And one of the committees that I am co-chair of is actually the Educational Committee. And one of the things that we have been talking about recently amongst issues with juvenile crime is how can cities support kids in the district. So we're not really part of the school district. We're kind of like there because we know that the city's only going to be as successful as our schools and vice versa. So one thing that we're going to try and really work on is encouraging all of the parents out there. Probably right now is the best time to do it, to say, make sure your kids go to school. I'm sure there's a lot of parents out there right now that wish their kids were in school as we speak. But that is a huge thing. Reynoldsburg has a relatively high absenteeism rate, so it's not any different than most of the local communities. But obviously, I think we can do a better job. COVID is still here, but it's not the same as what it once was. So we really want to focus in on making sure kids are there. As a former teacher, I can't teach your kid if the kid's not in the classroom. So that's the first thing. And for the most part, I understand it. One of my favorite stories that I talked about is there was a young lady who would always come to my first period class, and our class started at 7:30. And every day, 7:48 would walk in the door every day, 7:48, so 18 minutes left of class. And they always came in with their caramel macchiato or frappuccino or some other kind of combination drink. Summertime, obviously, much more fun, dessert drinks. So I talked to the mom about it, and they said that was really their only time to kind of talk during the day, is they would take a little bit of extra time in the morning so they could have a coffee and things like that. And I completely understand that and respect that. In this day and age, making sure that, one, that your teenagers actually like talking to you is a good thing. If you have to bribe them with coffee, I'm okay with that. But one of the things we have to do is we have to do a better job of making sure our kids are in classes. Teachers are putting everything they've got into it. I know a lot of teachers have been working hard this summer, kind of creating those lesson plans that teach all things that they're supposed to do and make it fun and engaging. But without the kids in the room, it doesn't work out nearly as well. So let's try and work as a community this year to get those kids into the classrooms every single day as best as we can. With that, another thing that's going to be helpful in this is providing options for some scholarship funds from the Reynoldsburg Education Foundation. Their gala is going to be on Thursday, September 19th at 1883 Locale. This is a great thing that brings up a lot of money for teachers in some of their more unique lesson plans that they have, where they have to buy some extra supplies, and this is just something that can help them with that. It also is a scholarship fund for students that might not have the ability to go to the Washington, D.C. trip in their 8th grade year, so I know they gave those out there. There's silent auctions, there's a student art sale, there's great food and spirituous beverages for those who are interested. Those things are on sale right now. Early bird price is $55 right now, $60 the day of, or $75 at the door, so get your tickets early. It is great. It's a great excuse if you want to get it dressed up and get all fancy, go out on the town and enjoy it, especially in our old town, which is looking fabulous. By the time September's around, it's a little bit cooler out there, so it's always a good thing. So go ahead and take great advantage of that one. And I'll talk a little bit more about something with the Education Foundation coming up. A couple of things I want to show you, some code enforcement things. So the first one I'm going to show you is kind of a before. This is not to call anybody out, but sometimes our code enforcement does some cool things. So this is a house that needed a little bit of tender loving care to meet with code, and so they ended up getting some things taken care of. And then when you take a look at the new version of it, ta-da, it does look significantly better. It's not that we're trying to be mean or cruel or anything else like that, but we wanted to take care of it. Another one is the thing that I have that was actually turned in by me, was a graffiti issue. There was some graffiti on the side of the building over by Civic Park. So that was reported, and then obviously they knew about it because they tried to block it out the way that you see there. But once we really talked to them about it, now we get it all cleaned out, and it becomes this whole other thing. So those are just a couple of the things right there that I wanted you to kind of see about what code enforcement does. Obviously, we do work with our residential residents. We have our commercial residents and things of that nature. We want things cleaned up as best we can. Most of the time it turns into, well, why are you coming to my house? But have you seen my neighbor down the street? And then it becomes a whole other thing. But again, that's what code enforcement is. If you want to submit anything, you can obviously call us. The easiest way, if you have access to a phone, is you go online to the Engage Reynoldsburg app, and you can actually put it in there. You can do it anonymously, and then you'll never hear about it again. Or you can actually put your email onto it, and you actually will get emailed updates as the progress goes along. So that's something that you can do. Unfortunately, I didn't have anybody join me this past weekend for our walk with the mayor over off Beltry and all of that. But I am not deterred. We will do it again. Our next one is going to be Wednesday, August 7th, because I'm not going to do enough walking around during the Tomato Festival. I wanted to get a little bit more in. This will actually be at 6:30 on Wednesday next week. It's going to be at the corner of Slate Ridge and Farmsbury to Harvest Moon in Upstone Valley. So if you're interested in joining me, if you live in the area, great. If you live somewhere else around Reynoldsburg, you can still come. Just look for the guy with a trash picker and a garbage bag. I will say that I did have a couple of members of council and a school board member join me. President Meredith Lawson Rowe, who lives in that area, was there. Councilman Stacy Baker was there, and school board member Neil Whitman was there. So you never know who's going to show up. But we picked up a very large amount of trash. I had a boring old regular trash bag because I didn't know how much I would be picking up. Definitely needed one of the bigger industrial size ones out there because there was a lot. But it just was nice. A lot of people came out and just kind of said hi and, hey, what are you doing picking up trash? Then they realized who it was and like, okay, I get it. So that's something that's there, but you'll see me doing that as well. First gate is scheduled for August 15th. There are a number of other scheduled ones throughout the rest of the summer and in through October, so keep an eye out for that. I've got some great news on some road updates. Our water line work is done on Wagner Road, which is huge. So what you're seeing right now is you're going to see kind of like what they call the connections. So they're going to be connecting the existing water line with whatever's across the street and vice versa. So you may see a little bit more weaving in and out of things as they're kind of digging up and connecting those new water lines. AEP is out there right now. They're going to be out there for the next couple of weeks doing some things. And I always like to preface this by saying it won't be that bad, but this might not be everybody's favorite piece of news to hear. Main Street's going to have a little bit of construction again, but not Main Street itself. We all know that the site on the corner of Main and Lancaster, the former Happy Dragon, they are getting into their finishing stages to open up with Brewster's and the financial office, and who knows what else is going in there. But we have to get the sidewalks and all of that stuff done. So starting next week, you're going to see the construction crews back out on Main Street and the corner of Lancaster, and they will have some of those lanes reduced to clear out and to start putting all of that interior stuff in. It's not going to be that long, and we're going to try and get it where at least it starts after the morning rush and ends before the evening rush, but this is the last step before the building was going to open. It's not Main Street itself, so it's actually just the building, so we will try and get it done as best as we can. In addition to other cool things that are going on, Central Ohio Transit Association, otherwise known as COTA, released a cool list of all the things that would be funded with with the levy, the sales tax levy that's coming up. And a lot of it is actually, some of it is coming our way to Reynoldsburg. If it passes, we will be able to put in some money into the redesign of Bryce Road, which will allow for some dedicated bike paths, some street trees, along with the realignment of the intersection itself that we've worked on. So that is one of those things. The whole goal for this Link Us system is to link all of the different communities together, whether it be by pedestrian travel, bike, the electric scooters, that type of thing, which we don't have. We may, we'll see. The other thing, obviously, would be, the bus lines itself. So if you're interested in that, come on out. They'll be at the farmers market in the not-too-distant future talking about those things. So that'll be a good kind of resource, and you can check it out online. Any questions, comments, anything like that coming up?
We did have a question. It says, do you know if Reynoldsburg schools will be offering free lunch and breakfast like several other local districts near us?
That's a really good question that I don't know the answer to. I don't think I've seen any advertisements for that. I know that during the times of COVID they did, but then some of that federal funding went away. I don't know what Reynoldsburg plans are, but I will have a board member on in the not too distant future, but probably not till after school starts. So what I would probably do is reach out to them or check their webpage. But I will look it up and I will let you know next week, just on the off chance that you don't see it. So that's a good question.
That's it.
My own personal opinion is, yeah, I think they could if they can financially do it. But again, that's part of the levy issue, is that that would be money that would go to that. I think every kid should have at least a decent breakfast and a decent lunch. But I'm crazy sometimes. We do have a flood town hall on September 4th. So this is, after the Tomato Festival, because again, we are at that point where things are Tomato Festival and then after Tomato Festival. So a lot of things are going to be after. This is one of them. That'll be September 4th at the Reynoldsburg Library from 6 to 8 p.m. Other events after the Tomato Festival include the Adult Prom, which is going to be September 14th from 6 to 9 at Eastside Brewery. It's going to be a scholarship fund for Parks and Recreation. So for some of the young children that might need a little bit of financial help with some of our programming, this would be a great opportunity to support that. We also have our Livingston House nighttime tour on August 16th from 10 to midnight, 18 years old and up. And then other cool things, again, kicking things off the first Friday, Food, Flicks, and Fun. We've got the Reynoldsburg Community Band that is going to be there this Friday night at Huber, followed by the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so that'll be this Friday. We also have a couple of other things. Fall sport registration is going to be starting soon. Some of the fall sports are going to start soon, even though it's July, so it's kind of just by category. I don't know, it's a Parks and Rec thing, but I trust their judgment on this one. So you got soccer and fall baseball and stuff like that. Cool things on development. Just kind of quick updates. I did saw on social media Bob Evans on Main McNaughton. Looks like it's closed. That's outside of Reynoldsburg. That's actually in the city of Columbus, so I have no idea what's going on with that particular one, but I'll look into it. I did want to let everybody know that the Alliance is still progressing. It's not moving to another city or anything else like that. It is actually going to be here. You don't put $4.5 million in the exciting world of sewer lines and water lines to walk away afterwards. So they're going to come back to planning and zoning to kind of do a redesign of their building, but a lot of the elements still remain, including the ones that I know everybody's looking forward to, the restaurants and retail. So there'll still be restaurants, there'll still be retail on the site as well. The building's just going to look a little bit different from their point of view. And the other big question that I get is about the old Kroger. That is a great question. I would love for that entire area to get redeveloped. I know a number of people have reached out to the property owner. Unfortunately, the property owner has their price set in mind, which they're willing to do, but nobody's been willing to meet that price. And it's certainly not something the city can afford. However, you never know. If interest rates start dropping a little bit, maybe there'll be a little bit more interest on that site. But we're obviously trying to work with the property owner as best as we can to make sure that we get something really nice there. It's the centerpiece of part of our town. We can definitely do some cool things with it if the property owner wants to be, supportive of our community. So we'll just have to wait and see. We do have our Market Off Main this week. I did not get the highlights in time, so I'm going to put Jasmine on the spot and say, Jasmine, why don't you tell us what's some of the highlights this week?
We have a scavenger hunt, so that'll be fun for families to do. And then we have, I think, all of our normal vendors. Ohio City Pasta will be there. Naughty Bear Apparel will be there. And
Do we have a food truck this week?
We're working on it.
Working on it?
Yes, still to be determined on the food truck.
We had a cancellation.
Oh, well, at least they canceled before, because usually it's like 20 minutes before the farmer's market opens up. So.
And there is no market next Thursday because that is Tomato Festival. So.
Sounds good.
Yep.
There's always Tyler's Pizza. That's always a fun one. And it doesn't take long. Really, I think it took less than 10 minutes for them to cook a pizza for us the last time we were there. We also have our Wellness Expo. Councilwoman Shawnette Strickland and the Reynoldsburg Dental Association Dental Center is going to go ahead and promote that. So we've got this wonderful thing here. It's on August 16th. You'll see those flyers all over the place. So thanks to Councilwoman Strickland for organizing that one. And then as we're talking about Tomato Festival, we got two things, and they're kind of related. The first one is the policy about wristbands. So after the events that happened in Pickerington and a number of other community areas, we sat down together with the police department, fire department, and we kind of talked about, okay, what do we want to do in this? And it was determined with everybody there that we think the best for our community is to require the wristbands for coming in. Now, is this a perfect answer to everything? No. Is it no different than people having to show their IDs to come into local high school football games? Yes, pretty much the same thing. Is it the same as what the Ohio State Fair is doing? Yes. Kings Island is doing the same thing. Unfortunately, we live in an environment right now where people think that it's a good thing to do really stupid activities just to get viral hits on TikTok or whatever the case may be, which is what happened in Pickerington. And as a former history teacher, I got very frustrated, when I'm teaching about it, when kids would say, well, why didn't they do something beforehand? And you're right. Why didn't people do certain things for preventative measures? We tend to be very reactive. So in this case, we're going to be doing something proactive. Is it going to be perfect for everyone? Absolutely not. Do I understand the frustration, especially from those teenagers that feel that this is specifically targeted against them? Odds are, if you're bothered by it, we're not talking about you. You're probably going to go to the festival. You're going to have a great time. You're not going to notice much of anything different. It's the people that are coming to the festival specifically to start stuff, which is what happened in Pickerington. I have no doubt in my mind that the people in Pickerington that put on the festival didn't want to switch to that, to the 18 and up thing any better than anybody else did. But for the safety of everybody there, that's fine, because whether it's traffic enforcement or whether it's an event like this, just because police are in the area doesn't mean that people are going to not do stupid stuff. So in this case, we want to make sure that we reduce the likelihood of those things happening as best as we can. And we're going to work with people. We're not going to sit there and check birth certificates or do DNA analysis or anything else like that. It's just a very simple thing, because again, if you're coming here to celebrate the Reynoldsburg Tomato Festival, you're probably not going to be the ones causing the problem. So we appreciate it. We appreciate your support. And if you have questions about it, come and join me on a walk next Wednesday. We can have a conversation about it there as well. But again, this is not anything specifically designed to punish anyone or because I don't like Reynoldsburg or anything else like that. It's because I'm trying to find the best environment for everybody to enjoy the Tomato Festival as best as they can. And with that, next week's guest is one of my favorite guests all year long. It is actually the Tomato Festival itself. So we will be on site at Huber Park as everyone is running around trying to figure out how to get everything done. But we're going to be at the Tomato Festival, and this will be not long after we do the grand opening of Sheets on Taylor and Main. So that is also next Wednesday. So we'll be going from one location to the next, but we'll talk about what kind of cool rides are going to be there, because those will probably be in the process of being set up. You're going to start seeing a whole bunch of vendors coming in with all the good food and everything else like that. And then obviously the stage is going to be looking to be coming in around that time as well. So there's a lot of cool things going on at the Tomato Festival. It's going to be as fun as it always is. So we're already looking forward to it. I hope you can join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. You'll see us there with all the different guests all the way across. And with that, any questions, comments, anything?
No.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a great time. Thanks to the Reynoldsburg Chamber of Commerce for a couple of their fundraisers. They had a big one this weekend. They had the purses fundraiser, and my wife won. She won a purse, and she was very thrilled about it. I did not win a purse, and I'm very upset by this. I know there's another event this weekend. They're doing the gun raffle. I don't know if tickets are still available because I know they were pretty much sold out towards the other day, but if you're interested in that one as well. And all those funds do go out to local nonprofits all the way across. So thanks to them. Everybody else, stay safe, stay respectful, and as always, please put your shopping carts away, and we'll see you next week.